Sacred Symbols is sponsored by Prize Picks, a new and novel way to make player picks in the sports you love, with the potential to win and maybe even win big. Available across these United States and elsewhere, Prize Picks awaits the responsible player. Are you game? Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code SACRED, that's SACRED, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code SACRED to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode number 392. My name is Colin Moriarty. I'm joined as always by my son, Chris Raygun, who's cleaning his glasses and has got his Leon haircut. How are you today, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm doing okay. Dude, I've been putting off this haircut for so long. It's ridiculous.
Looks nice. I like your hair. I wish I had straight hair.
I feel like everybody says that about something that they don't have, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's tedious. I would much prefer it stay the way it is, you know?
I wonder if there could be some sort of pill you take or an injection where your nails stop growing and your hair stops growing.
Yeah, stop now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pause.
Yeah.
Stop the count.
Stop the count. Everything well in your life?
Yeah. I had my coffee. Had a nice bagel, egg and cheese this morning. You know? Feeling
nice.
Good.
From Noah's?
Yeah, I've kind of defaulted to them for like a break. It's the closest I'm gonna get.
Yeah, sure. Here. I mean, it's fine. There's no problem with that. When in Rome. That's not right. And that's not the right one. Any port in a storm. That's the
right,
better.
Exactly.
That's the better.
That's definitely more spiritually accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you. Dustin Furman, executive producer. How are you today, my friend? In all black, you can go case a house after this?
Oh, dude, I'm always wearing all black.
I know. I'm only kidding.
Black shirt, wear the black jeans. I don't know. I just settled into that at some point in high school, and I'm just never stopped. So
black shirt, black jeans, and you celebrate Kwanzaa.
Celebrate Kwanzaa. Damn, are people? I do not mean this offensively at all.
The answer is no.
Are people still doing that?
No one celebrates Kwanzaa. Never.
I haven't even heard of it in quite a while.
When I was, I grew up in a place with quite a lot of black people and other ethnicities as well. So we always had a mixture of people. Jewish people celebrating Hanukkah. I didn't know anyone that celebrated Kwanzaa growing up. No one. So unclear if it's real or not. But But I do remember that, like, in the very 90s PC kind of thing, they would show like they have like a little menorah style thing. And you kind of show that sometimes. But it's unclear if it's real or not. I don't think it is.
Yeah. I'm doing fine. It hasn't been all that long since we last saw each other. But
not in the real world.
Not in the real world. I went to dinner with my dad last night. So that was nice because Holly was out with my mom for her therapy appointment because she took her. So we went to the place that we went when we had the live show in Butler, the Chop Shop. And it was excellent.
Nice.
Good time.
That's good stuff.
And other than that, man, I really haven't done anything interesting to talk about. I've just been, I guess, from behind the scenes, what I do every year for our Christmas break is I actually make a spreadsheet. And it has like all the different episodes. And it's like, is it recorded? Has it been edited? Have I made a thumbnail? Has it been scheduled? And has it been sent to our ad partner, Studio 71? I'm just slowly checking off those boxes as I go. And I am probably over 3/4 the way there at this point.
Nice.
Still got to record this episode. Still got to record my mailbag. I'm a little behind on that. But I have time for that. Once this episode's done, the only thing left to record is my mailbag after this episode. So we are well on our way, and hope everyone's been enjoying our holiday break content thus far, because this will be on week 2 that you hear this.
Yeah, we'll be well into the break at this point by the time people hear this. Well, very good. I'm glad everything's coming together. I have to record after this as well. and then write the show, and then we do the show tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll do 390, and then that's it. Yeah, and then I'm done. Chris is done. I can't say the same for you, Dustin.
No,
it'll be done the next
how
day.
It always is.
It'll be done the next day. Well, today we gather, as we do with our yearly traditions for the holiday, so we can pre-record these episodes. We already did last episode 391 was our 15 big moments of 2025, 5 each. So the next episode, by the course of our tradition, is to do our most anticipated games of the year coming, and that will be 2026. So each of us will select 5 games for 15 total. How many did I select here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have 17. I think that should be all right. I should be able to, because there's going to be a lot of cross selections and whatnot. Some of these have dates, but all of them have been theoretically confirmed for 2026. So nothing crazy that, like Fate of the Old Republic or something. We know that's not coming. Or games that don't have dates are presumed to be further out, but it's within you guys understand the spirit. We've been doing this long enough. Dustin, you went first yesterday, right? Or on episode 391. Correct. So Chris, we'll start with you this time, and then we'll go to Dustin, and then we'll go to me. Select your game and tell us about it, and then we'll go around the horn. Take it away.
Yeah, so I mean, the first one for me is Control Resonant. Mm-hmm. Like I've been waiting for this for a while. The first Control kind of blew me away, even though I didn't really understand it at the time. Like we talked about it on an episode somewhat recently, maybe even during the stream that we did during the Game Awards, where like when I first played Control, I just knew that I really, really loved it. I had no idea necessarily what the deeper, like what was going on. There's so many documents and so much lore in that game. Like it's just jam packed. But playing through Alan Wake 2, which connects to it, and there's even DLC that connects to it as well. It's I'm all in for whatever this weird Remedy universe is doing. I love that it looks like it's going a completely different route than the first Control. First Control being more of a third-person shooter. This one's seeming to be more of a sprawling melee action game. I think that's bold and interesting. It's rare. Doom, in fairness, does that too. Like where like each game is pretty substantially different than the last one, at least as far as like core game design goes. But like this looks like a pretty rapid departure from the original Control, and I think it would have been very easy and very safe to just do more Control. Same game style, same protagonist, but they're shaking a lot of things up, and I think it looks great. It's not what I anticipated out of Control 2, which is even more exciting. It's just Remedy feels fairly unpredictable, and that's a rare quantity in the games industry now, where you kind of expect what the next thing is going to be, or you kind of get the gist of something even before you've played it. So that's definitely at the top for me. Like I'm all in on Control.
Yeah, I mean,
Control
huge.
Resonant.
Control Resonant. Don't mind the title. Control 2, I think, would have been fine, but
I think Control 2 would have been fine too.
Or Control 2 : Resonant or something, but
or what is it? Contour.
Oh yeah, but then
remember when they were doing that for a while?
Yeah, that was
it's terrible.
No bueno.
Fant 4-stick.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not into that. Control Resonant looks awesome. I agree with you. Everything about it shines to me. So excited to see it at the Game Awards. We obviously knew this game was in development for a long time. I feel like I don't know if they need a redemption arc over there just with Firebreak. That didn't do well, but people liked it. It's just not what we expect out of them. And I am very curious about Remedy's overall health. They don't seem like a particularly healthy company, to be honest. And I know they had to write down basically the entire cost of Firebreak, which was like in the $20 million region, which is not horrible, but that's a lot of money for them, especially for its studio that's not selling many millions of copies of their games. And so I have a lot of hope for Control Resonant. I hope people pay attention to it. Control seemed to have, it's sold several million copies, I think, but it seems to have gone under the radar for many people. And I think it's because I understand why people might not be into Alan Wake. It's like I love Alan Wake, but it's the gameplay is not the best. You have to kind of be in for the story and all the rest. I'm not speaking to Alan Wake 2, by the way, but just the original one. But Control played exceptionally well. Like just as a third person game. And I looked it up. It's 5 million copies, but that took 6 years. So it's good. But a lot of those copies were sold at $10 or $20 probably. I was just surprised more people weren't into it just for what it was mechanically. And so I wonder if more people will buy into Control Resonant, but hopefully this will draw people towards the original game, which again is really great. And if anything, let me see what does the Wikipedia say for its, God, the Wikipedia page is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has
That
like an
makes sense.
82 on PS4. It's like, that's a little low.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Well, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But-
like it's, and all the scoring, of course, is from made up websites you've never heard of anyway. So it doesn't matter. Dustin, any thoughts here on Control Resonant before we move on?
I think the thing that I find the most exciting about this, and Chris touched on it, is that it's not a third-person shooter focused, and it looks like it's kind of more of a character action game. And that's super cool because I love games like that. Not that I'm saying it's going to be like Devil May Cry necessarily, but that type of action looks really cool. I like that it's going outside of the oldest house into New York. And so, yeah, I liked the original. I don't think I liked Control as much as you guys, but I did enjoy it quite a bit to the point where it's like, yeah, whatever the sequel is, I'm there day one.
Yeah. I'm of two minds really with this, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Like, I wanted it to kind of be a third person shooter again, but
Yeah.
based on the story and like you're playing as like kind of the sibling character and it's different, you're in a different place, it makes sense. Why would it necessarily in the world be a shooter?
Yeah. The only thing that bums me out about it, I guess, and I don't know if this is really a knock on it because I just don't know how it plays. The thing that resonated with me a lot about Control, outside of just like the world building and just the vibe of it, was that there's really not a lot of games that are like telekinesis focused. Like, that shit was so cool in the original, especially the way that you would throw shit and then like the debris of everything around you would like kind of terraform, and it didn't seem like that was this, because that's more Jesse's stuff, and that's kind of a bummer because I'm a sucker for good telekinesis mechanics. Force Unleashed, Destroy All Humans, like there's really not a lot of games that fuck around with that.
Sure.
So that's kind of a bummer. But
Sure.
I think it looks, I don't know, man. I think it just looks fucking great, like stylistically. I'm so excited to be like in the streets of New York with this like in this weird universe. I think you and I, Colin, we talked about that shot of the doors blowing open.
Yeah.
And how cool, like it's just like, ooh.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I'm so excited.
It's very cool. And I must admit, I liked the oldest house. Like, I liked that building and like, but it is, you can't set the game there again. Or if you were going to, it should have come out years ago. So, yeah, that's a very bold move. I want to see how open it is. And we'll see what happens. Because Control was kind of like the open world Alan Wake. And I'm open territory. It's not a world, but it's like you can go places and backtrack, and it's like the Ishimura or like a bigger Resident Evil house or something.
Yeah, it's like vaguely, I know this is an overused term, but it's vaguely Metroidvania, sort of like you kind of go back and you progress and then you move back when you get a new like ability or a new thing. I'm excited to see like just the design philosophy of the oldest house like brought to the streets of Manhattan, because it looks like that's what they're going to do. It looked like even there's like a shot of like pigeons kind of like doing this weird like psychedelic shit. So I'm just like I think it's going to be fairly. I think it's going to be cool.
I liked everyone like everything replicating and like getting all, because like anyway, go play Control. Awesome. You should play Control if you haven't. All right, that's number one for Chris. Dustin, what is your first selection?
My number one selection is Resident Evil Requiem on February 27th. And I love Resident Evil. Particularly, I mean, I love the remakes, of course, and the original Resident Evil is cool. But I really do think they are on an amazing run right now with Resident Evil 7 and 8. I really like the first person Resident Evil. Of course, this one was announced to be playable in both first or third person. And as of the Game Awards, they announced that Leon Sex Kennedy is back. And that's kind of one of the more interesting parts that
it's tortured
about.
Leon.
What's that?
It's tortured Leon. I'm sorry.
Tortured Leon.
Yeah.
One of the things they're doing is that they are keeping Leon as the action parts, and the other character, Ashcroft. What's her first name?
Ashcroft. What was it?
I already forgot.
Ashcroft.
Ashley Ashcroft.
Yeah, Alyssa. It is Alyssa Ashcroft. Right.
Alyssa Ashcroft. Okay. And hers are more, so her sections are going to be horror focused. So I think this is kind of interesting.
Oh, Grace Ashcroft. Who's Alyssa Ashcroft?
She's from she's like, that's the mom, I think.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Grace is who you're talking about. Sorry.
Grace.
I'm on the Resident Evil fandom Wikipedia. So yeah.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this is just that I think there has been two dynamics of Resident Evil, where there's Resident Evil 4 that was so action focused and that kind of led in a direction that people didn't like. And then they brought it way back with Resident Evil 7 being so much more survival horror focused. And so I think there's people that want one side or the other. And so I'm curious how they're going to pull off this, action focused and horror focused at the same time. But they haven't given me any reason to doubt them recently with Resident Evil. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. This is my most anticipated game of the year for sure. And man, I'm excited. I'm excited for Leon. Leon's just, he's got to be like top 5 at the very least, top 10 coolest game character. Like, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
You want to be Leon.
I'm looking at the timeline, like the in-game or the in-world timeline, because I was like, Resident Evil Requiem. I was like, is that the most new in the timeline game? But it's not. It's the second. Village took place in 2037. Resident Evil Requiem takes place in 2026. I'm wondering if that's the first one to come out in the year it takes place, because it's 30 years after Resident Evil 3.
Interesting.
And which a lot of that, yeah, like a lot. So let me look here.
How old is Leon then at this point?
In his 50s, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
1998 is the first relevant date in mainline Resident Evil games, and the earliest Resident Evil game is Resident Evil 0 in terms of the timeline. It's not a huge surprise. Then it goes into Umbrella Chronicles, then Resident Evil. Then all of this takes place in 98. Resident Evil Outbreak, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil Code Veronica all take place in 1998. And then let's see. I mean, there's a bunch of like spin-off stuff. Dead Aim takes place in 2002, if you're curious. Let's see. And then Resident Evil 4 is 2004. So no, that would have been the year it came out, right? 2000, or maybe it was 2005. Resident Evil 4 came out. And Revelations takes place in 2004. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting from a timeline perspective, because Leon must be much older. So I was seeing how it relates.
It's weird to me that they even bother with that, because it's like, it doesn't intersect with the real world at all. As far as I know, like I've never been able to glean any kind of like contemporary link to Resident Evil to like even Raccoon City's not real. So like why even have a date?
Yeah, I would presume that it's like one of those. It's like Resistance, where like the timeline is true up until this time, and in Resistance it's until the Tunguska event. In this, it must be until the Raccoon City event in 98, and then everything changes.
That makes sense, yeah.
Or like The Last of Us, because The Last of Us is also, we're like going to be coming into The Last of Us's time frame in the next decade or so.
Right.
That's a great selection. I'm excited about that game. Chris, I'm sure we're all day one on this one, I assume. Yeah. I had this ambitious idea because I was looking, when I was doing this, I mean, it kind of refreshes your memory, this exercise of like what's coming out and when it's coming. Last year was a lot more barren in the beginning of the year. There is more stuff coming. Nothing in January really, but for me, but February, there are a couple of things, because Dragon Quest also, well, maybe we'll talk about that. I don't know. But 7, by the way, not 12. I mean, please, I wish. But it's interesting, the interplay between how all these games are coming out, and I was thinking maybe I'll play Resident Evil 6 beforehand, because that's the one I've never played. And I was just so turned off by it at the time. Everyone seemed to hate it. And that was when I was just swimming. I mean, I'm swimming in games now, but back in the day, I would have, my desk would be stacked with fucking games. It's like, well, I'm not going to spend my time playing this game everyone hates. And of course, RE5 I want to go back to RE5 as well, because it's been 15 years since I played it, more than that probably at this point. And maybe it's not as pedestrian as I remember. I don't know. Who cares? Resident Evil Requiem, coming out February 27th from Capcom. Post Crapcom. I mean, so post Crapcom that it's amazing, and I'm excited for them.
They've
And I
gone
hope it's
from
great.
Crapcom to Capcom, really.
Capcom, yeah, Crapcom to Capcom. Right, that's right. We should make a shirt that says that.
Capcom.
to Capcom.
Crapcom to Capcom. Yeah.
I think Capcom would be funny just as itself, as its own, like,
Capcom.
just like it's like one of those things. That's awesome merch you got, and then you look at it a little bit like slightly close, and you're like,
Ugh,
I'm not going to mention this. I'm not going to mention it.
gross. All right. Sacred Symbols is sponsored by Prize Picks, a new and novel way to make player picks in the sports you love, with the potential to win and maybe even win big. Learn more about Prize Picks offerings across a legion of options, including football, hockey, basketball, and more, by downloading the Prize Picks app today and using the code SACRED when you sign up. Prize Picks' tagline is all about how good it feels being right, and they certainly aren't lying, especially when you combine their service with the copious amount of sports so many of us already watch. If you're a football fan like me, we've already moved into the playoffs and our fantasy seasons have long since lapsed. But Prize Picks' variety of fantasy means that any game is open to play long after you're gated off elsewhere. That's because Prize Picks has customers select between 2 and 6 players across a selection of real-life sporting events, all built around a simple premise. Will player X do more or less of something? So with football, say you pick Matthew Stafford to throw more than 300 yards, Jonathan Taylor to rush for more than 100 yards, and Brock Bowers to catch more than a single touchdown. If your selections all pan out in the real world, you win, and there are even ways to mitigate risk, lowering the ceiling but raising the floor, such as with Prize Picks' so-called flex play, which lets you win overall even if you miss a pick or two. I'm a fairly engaged fantasy football player each year, and it's cool to know that even after our traditional leagues have gone away, you can still get in on the action if you'd like. And your options are many too, with basketball and hockey still both in full swing, baseball season nearing ever closer, and year-round competition like MMA always present. And did I mention ex-Blizzard president Mike Ybarra is the CEO of Prize Picks? It's safe to assume he may know a thing or two about quality gaming. Available across these United States and elsewhere, Prize Picks awaits the responsible player. Are you game? Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code SACRED, that's SACRED, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code SACRED to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Sacred Symbols is sponsored by BetterHelp and their brand of remote therapy that's available for you when, where, and how you need it. Learn more now for yourself at betterhelp.com/sacred. We've heard a lot in recent years about mental health, and that's very much a good thing. No longer is it taboo to tend to your mind and spirit the same fastidious way many tend to their bodies. In fact, we sometimes hear so much about mental health that maybe it's starting to go in one ear and out the other. So let me stop you in your tracks for just a moment and ask, how are you? How are you feeling? What's on your mind? Do you think speaking with a licensed professional about whatever might ail you, relationship problems, emotional issues, a lack of motivation, a detachment from family and friends and beyond, could assist you in getting back on track? As someone who has received therapy on and off for well over 3 decades now, I can attest to its usefulness, not only in finding a sounding board, but in receiving the care you may need to live your best life. For some people, therapy is a constant fixture in their lives, but for most people, it's all about spot treatment, a session here, a few weeks or months there, just until you find your way out of the darkness. And BetterHelp is so useful because they meet you where you are and cut down on all of the mitigating factors that might stop you from seeking assistance, whether that's time off of work or access to a local provider or even insurance coverage. BetterHelp is entirely remote, conducted via audio, video, or even just text, always with a licensed professional on the other end ready and willing to listen, provide feedback, and guide you on a more positive path. With 30,000 therapists having helped more than 5 million clients and counting, BetterHelp has made mental health care accessible and affordable. Isn't it time you checked in? BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/sacred. That's BetterHelp.com/SACRED. That's betterhelp.com/sacred for accessible online therapy that's ready to help you now, but only if you're willing to take the first step. What will I make my first selection? Yeah, I'll throw this one in there first. Saros. This game has a date of April 30th, a slight delay from when it was supposed to come out, which I believe was late March, and then they kind of silently, almost like they never announced the original date. Like there was just a new date in the trailer at the Game Awards. It looks exceptional. I mean, what what can you really say about Housemarque at this point? They're just so elite. And I was skeptical of their ability to jump into the AAA realm. It's AAA. I mean, it's still, you wouldn't see many AAA games that are basically kind of roguelike, weird games like this, but just the production values and all the rest. They made the jump. They made the leap. Let's say they made the leap to a true 3D game very successfully. And I didn't know if they had it in them, and I didn't know if that was what they really could do. They weren't structured to do that for a long time. Housemarque is a really old team from the 90s. They've been making arcade games long before I ever knew who they were. I mean, they were making games on like PCs in Europe and shit like that. It wasn't until Super Stardust that they really became relevant to especially to Western audiences outside of Europe, but also just the PlayStation audience. And they quietly, I don't know how into PlayStation, I was really into PlayStation 3, right? Like I was in there. And if you were a real PlayStation mark at that point, Housemarque was like your shit, because they were releasing good stuff that really could only be played on PS3. They did some PSP stuff with like Stardust and later with Vita, with Stardust as well. But Returnal, when it came out in 2021, as the story goes, as our audience knows, like it took a minute for, like, I bought it. I was going to support them, but I wasn't really into it at first. And I stuck with it, and I ended up playing it for like 60 or 70 hours, and I loved it. And I love discovering games like that. It doesn't happen very often, because I think it's like music, kind of, where you can listen to something for 30 seconds. And you're like, all right, like, I'm not really into this. Like you hear enough of what, like, you don't need to hear the whole thing to understand where you sit. But sometimes you let the song roll into like a bridge, and it gets into like some real space rock bridge, and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. And that's kind of what happened with Returnal. It's like I just gave it a little bit more time, and I didn't throw it away, partially because of who made it. And it's like, well, there's got to be more than meets the eye here. And there was. It's graphically gorgeous, to the point I remember us talking about it over and over again. It's like, I died so much in the game just looking at it. Every boss fight I died almost like the first time, because it was like, I was just looking at like the bullet. I wanted to just watch it. I wish there was a way to, like, I'm sure there is on PC, but a way to just make yourself invisible or invincible. And the game shuts off. It's like, you can't proceed or whatever, but it's like an acknowledgement our game is so graphically beautiful that you might want to look at it at really bad times. And just the way the bullets were coming at you, and the slowness of it all, and the floral arrangement of all of the beauty but how deadly it was. God, what a fucking game. And then of course the interesting story and the loop you're in, and Celine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the rest. So Saros is, as we've said before, what I hope is a continuation of Returnal, which of course it is, but spiritually I hope their Assassin's Creed 2 or their Uncharted 2, or just the one where it's like, yeah, we get the little things we did wrong that actually mattered. And specifically, as we talked about a lot, with progression and giving players, resetting the board, but giving players more of a feeling that they're getting somewhere. I think if they capture that essence, this is going to be a fucking banger. You just know it, right? I mean, I don't want to see any more.
Yeah.
So Housemarque working on this for 4 years, like, yeah, it's great. Good shit, man. So I'm sure you guys are excited about this too, and it was on your list at some point, but
yeah,
I had to throw Saros out there first for a little first party love. There's not going to be that many options from the first party.
Right.
Anything to say about this otherwise, either of you?
Yeah, it looks great. I think wasn't one of the main new mechanics they were showing is the shield. You can block shots. Other than that, like, I'm like you, Colin, where I'm kind of in for this. I watched the Game Awards trailer, but it's already kind of left my mind at this point. I didn't rewatch it, so yeah, Returnal was really, really excellent and a surprising game, as you were saying. So them taking all of that and applying it to a new game, and also, dude, I'm excited. PS5 Pro support as well on it. Any of the first party PS5 Pro support games have been really nice. So from a technical perspective, I'm excited about it too. Well,
shout out to Saros. Shout out to Housemarque. Chris, anything to add before we move on? Because I think it's on you next. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I'm pumped about it. I think it looks better than Returnal, which is sick, in my opinion. Just because, like, Returnal, I thought was fantastic. I think it's still probably like in my opinion, probably like the best gameplay that's come out of first party So I'm looking forward to experiencing that again.
Yeah, that's probably true, right? I mean, like, what would even from a pure game? I mean, I love the gameplay of The Last of Us and Horizon and all of them, but it's a little more conventional. This is probably up there with like I was even going to say God of War, but I mean PS2 God of War, where it's like a true kind of different sort of gameplay. Yeah,
it's very Doom in a lot of ways, and I'm just like, it's a video game-ass video game, you know, like, and I'm just like, I'm all on board with that. And you're right, that delay was very funny. Like this little sneak delay where it's just like, hey, we're pushing it a little bit. And it was not even like, how long was the delay? It was like a month. Weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be like 28 days or 29 days or something.
But yeah, that was on my list as well. All right, so am I next, right? I'm after you?
Yep, you're next. Yeah, stick with it. This is your second selection.
All right, so this is my second selection. Look, I debated this because I don't know what to expect of this. This is a very Hollow Knight kind of Silk Song kind of deal where like I don't have any good reason to believe that it wouldn't come out this year, especially given the timeline that we've been given, but I can't deny that of the games that I expect for next year, Judas is pretty high up there.
Sure.
It's I don't know. This is very likely, in my opinion, probably going to get pushed. But I also don't understand how that could. How could this be?
Yeah, right. It's
like
it is. I feel
ridiculous. I do feel like at this point, like 2026, it's like it is kind of like a shit or get off the pot type of situation for Judas. I'm pumped about this game. I think it looks great. I think everything that I've seen about it looks exciting. I'm a big fan of Ken Levine. I'm a big BioShock fan. I have a BioShock tattoo. I don't even have a Halo tattoo. So like I adore that game design and that storytelling and just the ethos around it. I think it's fucking fascinating, and it looks like this is continuing a lot of that in a more modern lens with a lot of really interesting game design mechanics behind it. I watched that Narrative Legos GDC talk that Ken Levine gave many years ago, probably like 5+ times, which is, way more than anybody should be listening to a GDC fucking TED talk if they're not already just in the industry. So I've been fixated on this game for a very, very long time. I'm eager for it. It was, I think, supposed to come out this year, but it's been pushed now to 2026, presumably. But this game's had a very, very long dev cycle. It wouldn't surprise me if it got pushed out of 2026 somehow, but also, like, I think at this point, like, we really gotta, like, we gotta get moving. But of the games that I'm looking forward to next year, like, that's pretty high up there. Like, this is probably the most anticipated I've been for a game in, like, probably over a decade. So I can't not put it here.
Right.
Even though the prospect of it coming out next year is, like, potentially likely and potentially dubious. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. Really. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what to think. I really don't. I don't know what to think.
Is that would you say that that's a fair selection though?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It was on my list, and I didn't want to put it up too high because of the whole idea of it. Like, we just don't know what's going on. Like, it almost feels like we're getting to a position with this game where it's like, damn, dude, we got to get this. You got to get this thing out. I've said before that I think there comes a point where you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to deliver. And if it's not, people are going to, the more the game goes into development, the more people are going to be like, when it comes out, being like, this is it. You don't want to put yourself in that position, and even for a great game, just because it's been so long. I mean, this game's been, I'm not saying they've been working on this game for all this time, but BioShock Infinite came out in the PS3 era. That was the last game that they released. So it's time to go and see what it is. Dustin, I'm sure you're excited about it as well.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing consistent, I guess there's two consistent things about this podcast. We are Kojima fanboys and Glazers. We're also Ken Levine fanboys.
Oh,
I'm not going to say Glazer out of respect for Ken since he's been on this show, but you guys know. We love BioShock is like top tier for all three of us, like top. I'm assuming BioShock is in all of our top fives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I would think so. I have to really sit down and do this exercise at some point, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've been saying like the
year.
top 5, like my top games are just almost frozen in my mind where I'm like, it can't be true that this is still true. Like,
right. Yeah. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like Mega Man 3 and Symphony of the Night and Tales of Destiny and Wild Arms. Like I've been saying this since fucking high school. It can't possibly be anymore.
Right.
But yes, BioShock is certainly in like the 3D spaces, maybe other than The Last of Us, my favorite game.
Right.
Yeah.
And every trailer, I guess there's been 2 trailers, right?
I think so.
Yeah, there has been, because it was shown. And I mean, this is kind of the crazy thing too, is it was shown at the Game Awards in 2022. So it's
Yeah.
And obviously the game was in development for a long time before that. So it's just like, man, we gotta get going.
Is that right? 2022?
Yeah.
That feels impossible.
And I'm reading here, Strauss-Zelnick had said in 23 that they expect the game to be launched by earlier this year. So it's got to be close. It's got to be really close. And it wouldn't be surprising to wake up one day and you're on Twitter and you just see that a release date has been announced for. I think it would be an awesome summer game, to be perfectly honest with you. Just to find a window, find an avenue. Go ahead.
I figured it out. We were recording this on December 17th. The president has a message tonight at 9 p.m.
Oh,
that's it.
Okay,
he's announcing the Judas release date. So
he's announcing the invasion of Venezuela, probably.
Oh, good.
I've talked with Ken Levine. I've gone to. He's going to say like Irrational Games, and they're putting out Judas in 7 weeks.
He calls him irrational. Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah. He's like more in tune with the industry than he should be, but also completely behind.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He's still calling it Irrational Games. Yeah. I love the little hand magic that they do. I love hand magic. It's quite cool.
Andrew Ryan, great guy.
Andrew Ryan, great guy. I went to his party.
Rapture was a beautiful city.
Rapture was a beautiful city until the immigrants came.
That's true in a way.
I mean, it's all immigrants. Supposed to leave it to the native fish, I guess.
Yeah, I know, it's outrageous. But I don't even want to spoil the story. I was gonna say like that one guy with like the real Irish accent, where it's like,
yeah,
it's like, man, you're really putting it on. Those are my people.
Yeah.
Very exciting times. Yeah. So it's Take-Two also, and I'm sure I assume GTA will come up at some point in this conversation. Like they have to contend with that being released. They kind of can't release it next fall. I mean, it would just be, it's not even a matter of like eating it, because you could like release it in October, for instance, and it would be well distant of Grand Theft Auto, and that would still be in the same quarter. It would just be like complete financial malfeasance to be like, yeah, we want all of this money this quarter. It's like, no, you don't. Like that would be fucking crazy. You got to move it to a different quarter, hopefully earlier. And it's got to be this year, man. It's got to be.
It's got to be. Yeah, I had to put it because I was just like, it feels right. It feels like, okay, we've done the delay, we've done the reveal, we've done the re-reveal. How much more really is left in the like, I feel like you figure like maybe May to September, like that kind of window, maybe, ideally. Because they're not going to put it out in like December or something. No,
and again, that would still be in the same quarter. And it's like, just financially, you'd think that Take-Two would be like, we got to spread everything out and let Grand Theft Auto just dominate this quarter and probably the quarter after that. And then we'll get our money from that. And then we can, because the thing I'm worried about is if that's true and it doesn't make it this year, then it's going to be like no earlier than Q2 27 probably, and calendar year. So
yeah.
And I just don't know that it's just like, come on, man. If we get to 27, then you're getting the PS6 and it's like, you didn't release a game during the PS4 or PS5 era. Come on, Ken, you're too good for this.
Come on.
We love you, Ken.
Man. Yeah.
We love you so much. And dude, I'm going to shit myself when this game comes out. So it's just one of those few games where I am authentically.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like, everything's so trite and boring and I'm jaded. It's nothing like that at all. I've been playing games for a long time. To be truly amped about something is rare. It's very rare. I don't know when the last time The Last of Us Part 2, for example, was one of those games where I was like, yes, I can't fucking wait to play this. I'm so excited. Or Horizon probably was maybe the last example. But this is one of those games. It's like when Mega Man comes out in 27. It's like, that's going to be. And I'm not going to do it, but I got to be honest. I could get this game early so easily. It's not even funny. And I'm going to have to really. He invited me to play it a couple of years ago, to go up to Boston and play it. And so it's like, I could get an early copy of this game when it's time to go through my connections with him, but I won't.
Yeah.
But I won't.
This is like, I remember there were certain games where like I would get home from like I would get on the bus and go home from school, and like the second I was off the bus, I would be sprinting home to like play something that I was like really excited. Judas is one of those. That's a sprint home kind of game. Like the second it's available, I'm like, oh, okay, it's over now.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to see me probably for a while. I'm going to like completely shut my phone off. No one's going to come in contact with me for like a good like 3 days.
Yeah, I definitely don't want it to be spoiled. Hopefully it'll be dynamic enough too where it's
difficult
not
to spoil.
unspoilable, but there will be too much to flood the zone and we'll have time to play it.
Yeah.
Because again, like playing The Last of Us Part 2, having it being so thoroughly spoiled for me was a bummer. Still loved it, but would have been nice to not know. Dustin, this brings us to you for your second selection. This is 5 overall.
Okay, my next selection, we talked about Capcom. They got my Cap coming.
Yeah, sure.
With Pragmata.
Oh, surprising.
Is my next choice. This comes out, I was looking up real quick. It comes out April 24th. So yeah, this is my second choice, and it's another Capcom game. But Pragmata, this is a game that's been in development for quite a while. I believe, if I remember correctly, we saw this around the the pre-release of PS5.
Yeah, it was at that event. It was at that showcase.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this game's been cooking for quite a bit, but I got to play the demo at Summer Game Fest, and now there's a demo available on Steam, which it's pretty much the same demo, but it includes a boss fight at the end. And what they're doing with this game is really unique. You do these little puzzles in the middle of combat in order to, do damage on some of the various enemies in this game. And it's one of those things that I had to really play to like get it, because I think when you just see gameplay, it seems like it might be kind of boring or weird, and it definitely is weird. But I was surprised with how much it clicked for me. And this most recent trailer that they had at the Game Awards, the music was really cool. I'm really curious about the relationship between this little robot girl and this guy, and being out in space on the moon. And there's also these shots that look like they're in Times Square in New York City. I don't need to know any more about the story. In fact, the demo doesn't really give you that much about the story, and I'm happy about that. But I feel like at this point, the three of us have been playing games our whole lives, and we are going to continue to play games. So it's not all the time that you get something that feels truly unique. And Pragmata is one of those games like, wow, I don't think I've ever played anything like that. And so maybe it's a swing and a miss, but for now, it is really, really intriguing, and thus being my number 2 choice.
Yeah, it's a great choice. I think the game looks awesome. It's part of that Capcom mystique of them trying and executing on new things once in a while, and it's my hope that it works out for them. And it is my assumption, again, you don't show games that early if you didn't have different plans for release, and the game was obviously brought back to the drawing board at some point and reworked in some significant way, because it is years late in my opinion, based on when they showed it. And that shows to me that they believed in it. That they're like, there's something here. It's too good to waste with some half-ass bullshit that's not playtesting well, or whatever problems they had. So I'm looking forward to it too. I love space stuff, and I love space stuff, foreign space stuff. In other words, Mass Effect. We're in some made up system and some made up plan, but there's also a cool aspect to being on the moon. A familiar yet foreign. It was what was great about Andy Weir's book Artemis. which also took place on the moon. It's like, yeah, there's something not so foreign about looking up at the thing you see in the sky every day and imagining that something is there, something's happening there, and it's very, very exciting. So so the setting and all of that, and just the dual character, the little girl and like the adult male, it's very interesting. And like what her nature is, and she's getting an amiibo, which is, as we said, which is very interesting. I think I'll probably buy that amiibo. Chris, are you interested in Pragmata? I'm not sure where you stand on this.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. I know there's a demo. I haven't tried it yet. I've been meaning to, but I think it looks like it could be cool. I don't. It's one of those things where I'm just gonna have to get a feel for it. I'm gonna have to play it because the visuals of it, like the main character feels like he moves around like super heavy in a way that may or may not bother me. Like there are games that do that and they bother me, and then there are games that do that and they don't. But it's always like kind of like a 50-50 coin toss. I dig the style. I dig like the art design of it. I dig a lot of everything else that I'm seeing from it. Like I think visually it looks great. I think it's got a vibe to it that I think is undeniably cool and weird. It's just one of those things where it's like I'm definitely gonna have to play it. I do have the demo. Like I'm pretty sure I downloaded the demo. I might not have. I installed so much shit over the weekend, but I'm curious about it. I wouldn't say I'm anticipating it or like I'm excited about it, but it has my attention and I am curious.
Yeah.
And I hope it does well. Like I mean, we've been talking about this game in some way, shape, or form for like, when was the last time it was shown? Like, or the first time it was shown?
2020.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. It's been a long time coming, so I hope it lands well, and they got something cool on their hands that people are going to be excited to check out. I think it'll probably be very good.
Yeah, it was announced at the PS5 reveal, so that was true, as I said earlier.
Yeah,
it was announced for 2022. In 2021, it was delayed to 2023. In 2023, it was delayed indefinitely. In the summer of this year, they said it would come out in 26. Now we have a release date of April 24th. So a long time coming. Something obviously went catastrophically wrong with this game. It's 4 years late. So than their original timeline. I'd love to know more. Maybe they'll be free to say more once it comes out. All right. My sixth selection, or my second selection for 6 overall, I should say, is The Blood of Dawn Walker. I'm not entirely sure that this is going to be coming out this year. They say it is. Or in 2026, I should say, because we're recording this in late 25. They did say it was coming out in 26. It is my sincere hope that it arrives in 26. Games like this often get delayed, and I wouldn't be surprised. You don't really want to release anything in after October in 26, pushing the game to February or March 27. Bandai Namco is the publisher. I'm not entirely sure what their entire release schedule is. Are they publishing that Switch From Software game?
I don't know. I'll find out the answer though.
And then they'll have a couple other things. They're doing there might be a Tales game next year, although this was Tales' 30th anniversary, so I don't know if that was, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I love vampires. And I don't want, there's all sorts of different ways to do vampires, and I'm not into all the different motifs. I have no problem with Twilight, for instance, but it's not my kind of vampire story, right? It's cool. Or right. that HBO show, True Blood. My mom really liked that show, which disturbed me when I watched it because it's very sexual, and I'm like, ugh. Why are you liking this? Why are you a human being? But so that's another way to do vampires or whatever. I like Carpathian, Eastern European, Castlevania-esque vampires, like original Bram Stoker, Dracula, Nosferatu vampires. And
you gotta watch Nosferatu, dude.
The new one, yeah, I heard it's
the new one's good.
Does he look as scary, dude? Nosferatu used to scare the shit out of me when I used to go to the local library to rent tapes, and the joke was that I used to rent like the Nosferatu, but would never watch it. When I was a kid, like I'd rent it. That's how close I would get. And then I'd be like, and I don't know why my parents were letting me rent this shit.
Yeah.
But they were. So it wasn't until I was older but that is the scariest makeup I've ever seen in my life, especially because it's so old. Mm-hmm. You know, right. I feel like it won't look as scary in like HD.
I don't know. He's Chris, did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pretty freaky.
What's his name? Orlok,
he's a real
or
nasty boy.
Count, yeah, or Orlok.
Orlok.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
And Nosferatu came from. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you guys know this. It's you probably do because you know a lot about film or whatever. Is for some reason Bram Stoker didn't trademark Dracula in the United States, and so Nosferatu is like is supposed to be Dracula, and which is just a different name. Is that true? I think that's what it is. Right?
I think you're right. Yeah, it's something along it's something along those lines where, or maybe it was copyrighted or trademarked or something, but you could get away with it. And I think that's why they used Nosferatu instead of Dracula. I think I'm not sure. There's something you're right about. Like there's like some weird like trademark copyright thing.
Yeah, it must be copyrighted. It was always what it must be because he's Bram Stoker's Irish, but I think he wrote it in Britain. I think he was British, but I think he was born in Ireland. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just love that's my vampire kind of stylings, Castlevania, that kind of shit. And this takes place in the Balkans. It's exactly what I want. And there are some things about this game that turn me off a little bit, actually, including that it seems like you have to do everything in a month in game. So 30 in-game days. But I don't like being against constraints like that typically. But then I remember, I mean, we were talking about our earlier, like some of our favorite games. It's like Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game. And I remember feeling the same way when I was in high school when that game was coming out. I was like, oh, you got 3 days. Kind of fucking sucks. Like I want to just look around and hang out. And I ended up loving it. If you can leverage that sort of imminence into the game effectively, I think there's a lot to be excited about it. And I know that this Rebel Wolves team that's making it are remnants of the Witcher team, including, I think, the director of The Witcher 3, which I think means something fairly significant. I'm not a huge CD Projekt fan. I wouldn't put myself in that category because I've not played enough of their games. But I liked The Witcher 3 a lot, and I loved Cyberpunk. So it's not like that culture didn't make anything. That culture of that studio culture didn't make anything that I liked. So there's that reason to be excited about it as well. But it takes place in the 14th century. Your character, I think, is named Coen, and Coen. It says here, and you got to kind of like save your family from a vampire's curse. And that original trailer we saw, which I think was earlier this year, I want to say, I've gone on PSN and like just watched it on several occasions. And I'm like, this is so fucking good. Like he's running with the little girl in his arms, like into the church. And like there's all the different kinds of vampires. I like that there seems to be like almost like a Mongol, like, what are the Russian horsemen called? I can't remember I'll look it up.
Oh,
it looks like that. Like one of the characters looks like them. And one of the characters is like a European vampire and like a younger vampire and all that. I'm like, this is cool as fuck. And he like takes the little girl and cuts his wrist and like bleeds into her mouth while she's like, I'm like, oh, this is, and all of the religious imagery. I mean, that's a big part of it to me. And I've said that many, many times. I love religious horror, like Christian religious horror. You know, I don't know. Is there like Islamic horror?
Oh, there must be.
Just because I feel like I mean, there's going to be all sorts of different people, moderates and more liberal Muslims, but the religion seems to be so much less about interpretation and even bastardizing it in a way. It would be cool to see if that actually existed, like some sort of interesting supernatural, like the blood of Christ and the crown of thorns and the man nailed to the cross. Like there's so much horror imagery. You know, and it's almost impossible to avoid it. It's like an exorcism and shit. It's like, it's Catholic, really. And Orthodox, I guess, too. So are either of you looking forward to The Blood of Dawnwalker?
I'm curious about it. Like, I haven't looked too deeply into it because I every time I try to get into a vampire game, I just inevitably just kind of fall off. Like I tried with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines too. Right. And there's elements of that are really good, but like, I don't know. It just kind of feels a little off. And then there was another one that I think Dustin and I think Brad were playing, or it was like a survival kind of game. Do you remember what that was?
Oh,
Dustin? Where like the
to
sunlight,
what it's called. Yeah,
you know what I mean, right? Like the sunlight would burn you, and you have to go out and scavenge. Like, there's a lot of cool. Like, I wish I was more into it. This one is probably the most into a vampire game I've seen in a while.
Oh, is that V
Rising?
Yeah.
V Rising. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this looks cool. It's just one of those things where I don't know if I've seen enough of it yet to know for sure if I'm earnestly excited about it. Like, this is one of those games where I'm probably gonna wait to see like what the temperature is. If people have like interesting things to say about it, I'll probably check it out, because I think the vibe and like so far what they've shown looks really cool. I don't have a sense of like what the moment to moment,
I think,
let
me see if I can find this.
Unless there's like a long gameplay demo.
I think they
missed.
did release like a 30-minute Dawn Walker. Like a 30, there's a 30-minute, there's 30 minutes of gameplay, so I'll send it to you. You can watch it.
Yeah.
I actually only scrolled through it a little bit because I don't want to see too much. I don't want to see 30 minutes of the story.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to see that? But it looks cool. I'll put it in the chat here.
I remember the CGI trailer that they had for it. I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, was really dope. But okay. 5 months ago.
Oh yeah, this is some random person's like footage of it. By the way, there's probably better links. Let me see if I can.
Did I see this? Yeah. Huh.
This is. I'll put theirs. This is a version. This is actually a part 2 of that, I think, too. So there's even more.
Okay.
So you can kind of see it.
So it's in
it does look pretty. It looks like The Witcher.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I think it looks cool. It's just like I worry about. I guess what I'm seeing in this game is like I look at it and I'm like, this looks cool. Is this going to be like a 70-hour game?
Oh yeah.
Looking at it again, I was just like, that's exactly what like put me off a little bit. Where I was just like, this looks like something that's going to be fucking long.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be like
never going to finish it.
You can see in the corner. Well, I don't know where you are in the video, but in the corner of mine it says like the Blood of Dawnwalker is like a quest, and it says rescue your family. 22 days left. So my assumption is the days that maybe it's like an hour a day or something, and maybe it'll be like a 30-hour game you replay, which would be kind of neat. Like you can only do so much.
That could be cool. I think it looks great. I just know my attention span for these types of games, and I'm just like, I hope it's good enough for me to just like power through it.
We'll see. I hope. I'm not totally confident it's going to come out this year, but I don't know. I don't know anything about it to know that. I just feel like these things get delayed. It's just the way it goes. Dustin, are you interested in the Blood of Dawnwalker before we move on?
I'm not disinterested, but just from looking at the trailer, it looks great. It doesn't look like the type of game that I'm really into. But I'm open to it. I'm open to it when it comes out. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
What if the vampires were Japanese?
Only if they have Japanese eyes, like Japanese styling, like anime, you know?
Right.
You saved yourself.
The word I was
I know. I was like, no, you know what I meant. You know what I meant.
The word I was looking for, by the way, of the Russian horseman was Cossack or Cossack, Cossack.
I would have never
also,
in a million years come to that conclusion.
I did look up your question about the Dust Bloods, and it is not being published by Bandai Namco.
Oh, interesting. They're self-publishing.
Self-publishing, and I think Nintendo also.
That game is going to be stinky. I promise. Might be good.
We'll see.
But it's going to stink.
It's probably going to stink.
All right. Chris, on to you. This is your third selection, number 7 overall.
All right. Yeah, my number 3 is 007 First Light.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know, man. I love the Hitman games. I think IO does some really, really interesting stuff. I think them moving into kind of a more linear, sort of action-oriented genre is fascinating. I think, and for what it's worth, I actually think like the combat, which is not typical of Hitman. Hitman is somewhat like Skyrim in a way, where it's just like the combat seems to be sort of an afterthought. It's really more about like stealth and planning your way through things. And then when they get to the combat, it's just like, you hit somebody with a bottle and that's it. This seems a lot more involved. They seem to have put a lot more effort into just the animation and the production value of those kinds of scrappy interpersonal fights. I remember being pretty impressed with the level of interactivity in some of the gameplay that they showcased. And that there is like some Hitman identity still in there is really exciting to me. I dig the idea of, some of the open stealth sandbox of Hitman being brought into a 007 game that isn't based on a movie. That's a completely original type stuff. And I think it looks, I don't know, man. I think it looks cool. I think they may be cooking. You know, there's some things that concern me a little bit. Like I don't know if I'm really all that convinced that Lenny Kravitz was a great choice.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's a very bizarre choice. Like that's weird. And, you know, who knows how that'll end up. But I think the game itself looks like it's heading in a great direction. I think IO is just good about making games that make you think in really weird ways. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. It's been a while since we've gotten a 007 game of any real consequence too. So in that aspect, it kind of feels like a little bit of a throwback. There's like a vague nostalgia oriented with this game for me, even though like I've never really, like I played a lot of Nightfire, but I didn't really play much.
Yeah, Nightfire. I wrote the guide for that in college, actually. Yeah,
I dug Nightfire quite a bit.
Yeah, it was cool.
But I don't have a lot of experience with 007, really. Like, I haven't seen many of the films. The films I have seen, I don't think I've seen in their entirety. So, like, a lot of what I know about 007 is through, like, osmosis or through cultural satire or through the handful of video games that I have, like, a loose association with. So, I'm kind of looking forward to this game in large part just to kind of get acquainted with it and see. You know what this might actually do for me? This might do what Indiana Jones did and kind of make me, like, rewatch the original trilogy. I might obviously there's a lot more 007 than there is Indiana Jones, but maybe before 007 I might catch a mood where I'll pick some films and get ingratiated into that world. But I don't know, I just think it looks really cool. I'm into it.
There are different, I'm not a 007 fan at all either. Yeah. Oh, my accountant's calling me. Sorry, there's going to be an awkward cut here. My accountant was calling me when the company's accountant, and we're recording this we're finalizing everything for the calendar year. So I had to take the call to make sure that everything was good, but everything's fine. Everything's fine. So what I was saying about 007 is that there's this, obviously they started as books. I have no familiarity with the books. And then there's the movies, which are famous. And my old colleague, Nick Scarpino, was a massive 007 fan. But I understand, and I'm like you, Chris, like I'm not super familiar with it. I've seen some of it and I've played some of the games, but there are all these eras. Like I don't think I've ever seen a Sean Connery or Roger Moore 007 movie, which is crazy. Those are like the first two. And then I became kind of familiar with 007, honestly, during like the very brief Timothy Dalton period, which was when I was like a very little kid. And then Pierce Brosnan. Mm-hmm. And then at some point in the Pierce Brosnan era, I fell back out. And then the whole Daniel Craig era, I just missed. I haven't seen any of those movies. So I'm excited about this game because it looks great. And I don't know that 007's ever really contingent on knowing any of the other. Maybe they are, but I've never gotten that vibe. They all kind of like these self-encapsulated. It's like watching Law and Order or something. It's like
right.
You like get the characters and what they would call a procedural as opposed to a serial. But I could be wrong about that.
It's about the vibe is what it seems like from the outside looking in, and I dig the vibe of 007. And so I'm looking. There's even like a lot of gameplay stuff that they're doing, like the bluffing mechanic. I think is interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit that they're doing that I think could be pretty innovative and cool.
And I think it kind of looks like Uncharted. Which is
it's like Uncharted Hitman.
Yeah,
which is
right.
Sick.
So for that reason, I'm excited about it as well. So yeah, I'll definitely be playing this. It does have a date of March 27th, so we'll be playing that relatively soon. Dustin, you have anything you want to say about First Light?
Yeah, IO Interactive. I mean, I got in on Hitman 2016, and that whole World of Assassination trilogy, each one just got significantly better. I think they're all great. Chris and I have talked about the mansion level in Hitman 3 that is just so incredibly good from a design. I mean, gameplay design perspective, like just amazing. And so to see them, it's like a match made in heaven to have them get the 007 license to make that kind of game is so cool. So I'm 100% in. I have seen quite a few of the 007 movies. I don't love them, but I think they're cool. So for me, it's mainly about the developer behind it. So I'm there. Day one, I had this on my list as well.
It was. I wrote it down as well, but I didn't think I would ever actually maybe get to it because it does seem a little disingenuous for me to say it, but comparable to some of these other games.
Sure.
But,
and by the way, if anybody, I'll be looking at the comments. There's so many 007 movies. I really don't. I would have no idea where to start with. So if there are like fans in the audience, if they've got like an idea, let me know in like the Discord or whatever. Because I'm gonna be probably trying to at least watch like maybe 2 or 3 before the game comes out.
Yeah, that would be cool. It would be cool. It would be cool to. Their MGM does 007, right? So that would be. They're probably all on Amazon.
Yeah, they're probably all pretty readily available.
All right, that brings us to you, Dustin, for your first. For your third selection. This is 8 overall.
Okay, obvious pick. I'm surprised it took us to round 3 to get to it, but it's Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out this year. Oh, no, well, yeah, I guess by the time this episode comes out, it'll be coming out this year. And man, I like every few months I go back and I watch particularly trailer 2. And just looking at this game visually is just, it's stunning. It's shocking. It looks like $1 billion when you see this trailer. It looks like many, many years of work into this game. And I really like, one of the most intriguing aspects of it to me is the 2 main characters that are in a romantic relationship. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious about how that will play into the story.
You want to see it? You want to see it, don't you?
Oh, I mean, you saw trailer 2. This is a little bit of a horny game.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto, but maybe this one a little bit extra horny. So yeah, I am so curious about this. I'm curious too about the next era of Grand Theft Auto Online as well. I've never been big on Grand Theft Auto Online. I've played it before, but seeing about how they're going to evolve it, it's one of those things that they know they got. I mean, not only do they just need to get the game right in general, but Grand Theft Auto Online this is going to be their moneymaker for at least a decade or more to come, certainly. So I'm really excited about it. And, you know, we've had delay after delay. So I think it's going to land, though, in November. So it'll be the biggest media release of all time.
Yeah.
In terms of dollars, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's definitely going to be the case.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It was funny. I go last in our round robin here, or it's not really a round robin. It's like a rotisserie here. And so if we got to the last pick, I would have picked it but I wanted to play a little bit of chicken with it as well. It's actually not one of my most 5 anticipated games personally, but I am extremely curious. I've probably never actually ever been more curious about a game than I am about like what this one is, really just getting into it and seeing it. So, and I don't want to know or see anything else, and I don't want to know anymore. I would like to see some minute-to-minute gameplay. Like I wouldn't mind seeing a mission or something, mostly because I'm curious about just how it looks. Like, what are we talking about when the game's actually being played? Like when you're really playing it, what does it look like? And because the game's not being released on PC, we'll probably see it on PS5 or PS5 Pro. And so we'll get a really good representation of it. Chris, I assume you're excited about GTA 6 as well?
Yeah, I mean, this was the obvious kind of given, you know, like I think we're all like so curious, and it's very rare these days that we have like a big tentpole release that everybody's excited for. Like usually the big phenomenons happen kind of out of nowhere now. It's usually something like Fortnite, which, you know, over time or overnight just kind of becomes this phenomenon. Nobody was looking forward to Fortnite.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
yeah,
nobody was hyped about Fortnite. I remember years ago, I was, because on Facebook they have this like on this day thing, and I always like every now and then I click on it out of curiosity, like what was I saying? Like what was I posting about in like 2011 or whatever? And I remember E3 like 2012 or like 2013 or something like that. Fortnite showed up with like the Save the World mode, and I said I think I posted something that was like, this looks like a flop. No one's gonna be playing this, which is technically true. Nobody did give a shit about Save the World, but yeah, or something like a lot of the big things are like Cyberpunk, which launches all fucked and then eventually gets better, or like Arc Raiders, which like kind of overnight. So like GTA is really the last, or this one in particular is like really the last big thing that everybody is kind of unanimously like, we gotta line up for that. So from that perspective alone, I'm excited about it. As like kind of the ending of like these big exciting, like everybody's excited for type games. But like also, dude, GTA trailer 2 in particular, I'm glad you pointed out that trailer specifically, because that trailer is so impressive to me on like almost every like fundamental level. Like I think somebody posted on Twitter like months and months ago a picture of GTA 5 next to GTA 6, and it is fucking startling how much GTA 6 makes GTA 5 look like San Andreas or like GTA 3. Like it looks comically bad in comparison, which is crazy because I remember that game being like very, very detailed. I remember being impressed by that game. And I don't feel that often. Like usually I'll go back to a 360 game and I'll be like, oh, that looks pretty good. Or like, but that changes like that. You see the money. And I am so painfully curious about, how long that game's going to be, how in depth it's going to be, like what they're going to lean into with the online. Like, are they going to lean into the GTA roleplay aspect? Like, what are they going to do with the phone mechanic that's been kind of a staple of GTA, going from GTA 4 to GTA 5 and potentially maybe here? Like, the mind kind of races as to what they're going to do and like how Second Life is it going to be. I'm really curious about GTA Online. Like, I feel like I missed out on something with GTA 5 Online because, like, when I first played it, it was not in the state that it would end up being in. It was kind of like, still felt like somewhat of an afterthought when I was playing. But now that they've seen like the sheer success of it, like, how are they going to double down on it? What's the story going to be? Is it going to be like Red Dead 2 tier narrative writing? Like, I don't know, but like the prospect of that type of writing finding its way into a GTA game is really, really exciting because I personally, GTA 5 didn't resonate with me that much. GTA 4, I loved. I think the narrative in GTA 4 is probably still, to this day, probably the best GTA narrative. So I'm excited to see it potentially surpassed and excited to be impressed. And yeah, this is undoubtedly like the biggest thing for all of us, I think.
All right, my third selection, number 9 overall, is Mina the Hollower. We don't have to linger on this too long, as I know I'm probably the only one truly excited about it, but I've been waiting for this game for a long time now. I'm a big Yacht Club fan, as I think everyone knows. I'm a little disappointed in their trajectory over time, and I feel like this is a game for them to get back on their feet. Hearing them say that they really need to sell maybe a couple 100,000 copies to be okay, made me feel good because I think that's a fairly safe bet for them in the first days probably of the game's release. And they said if they sell 500,000, they'll be in great shape, which I think is also entirely possible. For people that don't know Mina the Hollower, it is a game that is kind of predicated on a game. I mean, to me, it looks most like the Game Boy Color Zelda games, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. So late Game Boy, maybe early Game Boy Advance, but really it's not a Game Boy Advance game. And it looks awesome. It just looks totally true to form, obviously a love letter and some sort of passion project for them. And it is interesting to hear how it all spun up. I mean, it's a double-edged sword in that their intern, their old intern is directing the game, which is so interesting. And yet he kind of bit off, it seems like, more than he can chew and wasn't really a great leader. And so the game took longer than they wanted to. And now Shovel Knight's director is helping finish the game. And I assume we'll see it fairly early in the year. It doesn't have a date yet, but I'm sure no later than the second quarter. And that's probably even pushing it because it seemed like they didn't even know if they were really going to delay it out of this year. There was still kind of some uncertainty about that, but really looking forward to this game and really want to see what it is. And as someone who co-owns a studio that has an affinity for making exclusively old games, I feel connected to this sort of project that you do something within the confines of something very limiting and see what's possible. And the gameplay looks fucking phenomenal. And I love the character. Character's really cute. Could be another interesting plush toy. Could be an interesting amiibo. Considering their connection to Nintendo with all the Shovel Knight amiibos that happened. I think they got 4. So it's a lot. Getting into Fire Emblem territory.
Yeah.
Are either of you going to play Mina when it comes out?
Yes. I played the demo on Switch 2 and I didn't finish it because it was so good. But I thought, yeah, I'm locked in. I'm locked in for this. It plays great. And I I want it to come out because it was supposed to come out this year. And it did. Honestly, probably good for me personally because playing so many other things that I maybe not wouldn't have gotten to it. But yeah, this game looks sick.
Chris, let's go on to. Well, if you don't have anything to say about Mina, it is your turn too. So take it away however you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I can't pretend like I know much about it. I'm just not. I'm pretty bad at 2D games, to be honest with you. Like I appreciate them more than I like them. I think like there's some that I love. Like I love the original, like Mega Man, and I think like there's certain like obviously Mario World and things like that. But I'm staying with sticking to my lane. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as Mina goes, unless I hear like amazing shit about it, then I'll be curious. But yeah, so this is my number 4. I think.
Yeah, this is 4, 10 overall.
Guys, it's Marathon.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a believer, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I've been thinking about it kind of constantly, to be honest with you. Like, I think even when I spend time in Arc Raiders and I play that with like friends of mine, I'm just constantly thinking about Marathon as I'm playing it because I just like, man, that vibe. I love that it's a continuation or that it's like rooted in the same lore as the original games, and the original, dude, the lore in the original Marathon is so good, and I'm so excited to see like how this is going to connect to it, especially because it seems like they're really doubling down on that. I've heard, and I think they showcased a little bit in this recent Vidoc of like there's like a codex with like an OG Marathon terminal in there that kind of keeps track of all the big story beats so that you can follow along and it doesn't get lost in the weeds of like gameplay, or like you're not listening to an audio log while you're in the middle of a firefight and you lose it. Like you can sit there and really, really, really scoop through everything and really get intensely familiar with it. I think the game plays phenomenally well. I think a lot of the additions that they've made since the delay only strengthened that. I think they've doubled down on the environments. They've doubled down on the tone. They've doubled down on the threats. And Arc Raiders really kind of, and to be fair, Marathon opened my eyes to Arc Raiders, and Arc Raiders has opened my eyes even more to Marathon, where I'm just like, I'm really looking forward to getting involved in that gameplay, in the same kind of gameplay loop, in the same kind of, thing that's so intriguing about Arc Raiders, but in a world that I am familiar with, in a world that I care about, in an aesthetically unique and interesting world that is, in my opinion, unlike anything. Like, I really think the art design in Marathon is top fucking tier. I think it looks immaculate, and I'm just excited. The gameplay there is just so good, and having that Destiny style game feel in a tense, dog eat dog kind of PvP landscape it's really appealing to me. It's probably the only multiplayer game that I think I'm looking forward to next year. As far as I'm aware, I don't think anything else really comes close for me. But it's definitely on the higher end. Like, this is one of those where I'm going to be really, really stoked about it when it comes out. But yeah, it's my number 4. I don't know if I have much more to say about it, but
it's okay. You don't have to say anything you don't want to say. You don't have to pontificate if you don't want to. I'm not obviously going to play Marathon, but sure. Dustin, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my kind of game.
Right.
Dustin, I assume you'll play it.
Yes. And Chris, I'm with you. I mean, I don't know how good it's going to be. I haven't had the privilege of being invited to play the beta or figured out some sneaky way to get in.
I haven't been invited back either. So
yeah,
it's a bummer, but
so I have not played it, but the recent video they put out looked insanely promising. And I'm with Chris. I love that Bungie FPS feel. And so taking the things that I love from Arc Raiders and adding that Bungie gameplay feel, I mean, that's enough already. On top of that, the amazing art style is just, it's all there. And so, yeah, it's had some issues, and I think that they've done a good job course correcting, particularly in having proximity chat is going to be a huge difference. I'm curious about how the kind of hero aspect is going to play out. On the surface, I don't particularly love that idea, but I am open to having my mind changed. So I'll be there for Marathon for sure.
All right, Dustin, let's stick with you then. It's time for your fourth selection. This is 11 overall.
My fourth selection. Let's go with this one. Crimson Desert. This is a game I'm watching a trailer.
March 19th, by the way.
2 years ago. Gamescom opening night live 2023. And just watching this trailer is so insanely impressive. And it's from 2 years ago. This is Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom for adults to enrage many people. But what's so impressive about this? I mean, there's way newer gameplay out there. This just happened to be the one I clicked, but there's just so many systems happening at once where there's like this amazing particle effects when you fight. There's all kind of physics objects going all over the place. The game has an insane amount of verticality to it where you can like glide around. It shows later there's like sky islands, kind of like Tears of the Kingdom as well. And all of this looks so impressive. And it's funny, there's a trailer or there's a comment on this trailer from 2 years ago that says, this gameplay looks insanely ambitious. It's definitely one of those I'll believe it when it's released kind of games. And that's how I felt also until Summer Game Fest, where I didn't get to play it, but I sat beside Brad as he played it, and it was all there. It all came together. Whether it works for a full game, of course, is yet to be determined, but what I saw in that trailer looked so incredibly impressive. The main concern I just have is that I am assuming it was played on a PC on that trailer, but with an open world that's this big, running on PlayStation 5 on console hardware, I'm a little concerned from a technical perspective, but we haven't seen that yet, so I could be blown away. But Crimson Desert, I think this could be low key if they pull it off, one of the biggest games of next year.
Yeah, it does look like one of those games, right, that's going to sell 10 million copies or something and like really storm the beaches, because I'm most interested because Pearl Abyss is a very well-respected MMO studio with a lot of money, and they're South Korean. And this game began as I think a sequel to that. And I love the idea of them seeing something so special and maybe a little uncertain in the MMO market as well, where it's like our route to success with this game is actually doing an action RPG in the vein of a Western role-playing game. And it does look excellent. It really, really does. There's just no doubt about it. And I know this thing has been kind of bouncing around for a while. And right, it was 2020 Game Awards.
I think so.
And so it's exciting to see it come to fruition. And I was hoping for it this year. I mean, they were really going into this year as the date. And I know they need more time, and they announced such. It is, as we've said before about other games, a blessing that it got pushed out, because it might have it's going to get lost probably in some respect, no matter where it's released. We always talk about even games with really huge sales still disappear from the zeitgeist because of the nature of this ever ending wheel of fucking games that comes out. But it looks incredible. It really does. It really does. And it speaks to me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Chris, are you going to play this game?
I'm intimidated by it. It seems like an intimidating game. I don't know. If it's exceptional, I feel like I'm gonna have to try it again. But like, this is kind of, again, this is another thing. Or I feel similarly that I feel with to this that I feel about Blood of Dawnwalker. Where I'm like, this looks like 100-hour kind of thing, and I just don't know if I'm hungry for that. By the way, oh my god, every single day for the last week they've been vacuuming in the room right above me. I don't know what the hell's going on up there.
The people when I lived in Santa Monica would vacuum every day.
That's crazy.
Every day. They must have been clean freaks or something, which is fine. But
there must be some really heinous shit going on in that in that room.
It's a crime scene.
But
Surf Pros there. That's such a weird reference.
But yeah, I don't know. It looks like another 100-hour game, so like I'm probably gonna let it pass, but it looks fucking great. Like, the production value of it looks incredibly impressive. It looks truly next gen in a lot of ways, but I don't know. That length, it's demanding, you know?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has to make concessions like that, so I don't blame you. Yeah, everyone has to kind of make a deal to get through this heinous schedule. All right, this brings me to my fourth selection, and this is 12 overall. It is Onimusha Way of the Sword.
Ooh.
Onimusha 5, another Capcom
Yes.
game. A lot of Capcom on this list, comparable to other publishers. I've been waiting for a new Onimusha game for almost 20 years. By the time this comes out, it will have been about 20 years. And we don't have a release date yet, but they're saying 2026. And when you read about the game, and when you see the game, but when you read about it, it says, and they're saying all the right things. People very quickly ask, are you making Onimusha into a Souls-like? No. Is the game open world? No. How long is it? 20 hours. They're hitting all the right notes. Of course, remembering that Onimusha was basically a horror Resident Evil at first. And they're sticking to that Japanese, supernatural, historical action game with role-playing elements and upgrading elements, which go back to the original Onimusha Warlords. It's just fun to see this come back. And I wish we weren't streaming at the time, but it's so funny. Like, I called that this was Onimusha like 2 seconds into the trailer.
Yeah.
And because it just read like, and I was like, wow, they're really doing it. And the 4 Onimusha games on PS2, I think, are really great. Like, they really are great games. If people haven't played them, Onimusha 1 and Onimusha 2, most people consider Onimusha 2 to be the best. Those are both available on PS4 and PS5 for you to play, and they're relatively cheap. I assume they'll probably get Onimusha 3 and 4. Onimusha 4 wasn't called Onimusha 4. It was called Onimusha... What was it called? This one is called Way of the Sword. Onimusha... I don't even remember. Who cares? But it came out in 2006, and I wrote the strategy guide for it at the time. What was it? Dawn of Dreams. That's what it was. And people really didn't like it very much for some reason, but I actually think it's a really strong game. So it's my hope that they get all 4 of them out in time for a celebration of getting Onimusha really on its 20th anniversary since the game came out. And really, it's like 25th anniversary since Onimusha itself launched. I don't know if they're going to lean into that or not, but it's a really special series. And when I went back and played it when they released Onimusha, I guess it was in 18 or 19 on PS4, I expected it to have to make more concessions about like, oh, this game comes from a different time. It's not going to be as fun as you remember. And it was great. I was like, no, this game's still totally great. And very approachable, very sucking the souls in with your gauntlet, kind of some simple upgrades, different types of weapons and attacks. And they evolve it over time. And it's very, and I think it is a very contained Resident Evil style game in that you're kind of going through sections and you're finding like a key and then you're solving a puzzle and then you're going, but it's a little more linear. So I'm really looking forward to this game. When it will be dated, I don't know. Again, I think this is a very good like late summer, early fall release, and I would expect to see it perhaps in that time frame. Are you guys interested in this game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Chris, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm this was on my list too. I think it looks great. I really enjoyed the original Onimusha when I finally played. I think I started it back when they ported it, and then like I kind of fell off because I don't know if I got it. But then I think I played it, I think in the last like year or two, and I really, really dug it. I love these types of games, and it looks like this is just building on it. It doesn't look like they're trying to reinvent the wheel here. It looks like they're trying to really evolve it in a way that makes sense. Everything. I love the interactivity too. Like I think there was like a scene with, I think he kicked a table or something that I remember like sticking out to me as like, ooh, this is cool. So yeah, this is definitely up there for me.
Yeah, the original Onimusha is very nostalgic for me. It came out when I was in 11th grade that spring. And it was amongst those original, not launch region games, but one of the original like great games. For some people look at it, it's like up there with like Red Faction. I loved the Bouncer. A few other things that were Silent Hill 2 was a little bit later. Then when you get to the fall, you get the GTA 3, MGS2. It's like pretty crazy fucking year on PS2, but it all began really in that era, that February, March, April era when games started actually coming out. And it was like, yes. This isn't just a DVD player. It's not just a Fantavision machine. Dustin, it's time for you to go. You can say anything you want about Onimusha, or you can make your fifth and final selection in the 13th slot, or you can do both.
Yeah, well, Onimusha, I played the first one. It might have been last break or the year before for the first time, and I was pleasantly, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, because I was expecting it to be awesome and I liked it, and everything we've seen from this new one looks great. And while I agree and know that I'm not calling it a Souls-like, but from watching the gameplay with certain boss fights, the parrying and some of the sword combat is reminiscent of Sekiro. I don't know how much it's going to be like Sekiro, but I like a good, parry mechanic in a game. And this certainly looks like it's got some of that. So I'm very excited, dude. Capcom, 3 games on our list from Capcom. They are just absolutely been killing it, and I assume are going to kill it in 2026. So my next choice here, let's go with this one. And maybe this is unfounded coming from me, but legitimately, I am very excited to check this out. And that's Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Why
would that be disingenuous for you? You're from Japan.
Because I've never fully beaten a Dragon Quest game.
Oh,
I've only played. In fact, the only one I've really played is 11, and I didn't beat it.
Interesting.
So, but this one in particular, I just feel like looks so cool. Matt Damon aside from the characters.
Matt Damon. That's a good moment for you on stream.
Yeah, that was a good moment. I think this looks really cool. I've always heard so much about, particularly I feel like the Dragon Quest games I hear the most about are 7 and 8 in particular. And so this feels like, for me, like, okay, I may have missed the boat on 11 and I could go back to it. But this game in particular looks like, okay, this is the one. This is the one that I'm really going to go full force into and play. I know it's pretty long, which is a little intimidating, but I just, I really like what they've done here with it. So, Colin, you probably will have more about this to say than I will, but it is indeed one of the games I'm most anticipating.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to it. I'll buy it I want to support Square Enix with these Dragon Quest ports. I think it's important that they get them out for everybody and they continue on. I know hopefully we'll get 4, 5, and 6 at some point. Obviously, we're eagerly anticipating 12. And Brad and I were just talking recently about Dragon Quest X, because that's obviously the mysterious one that never was released in the West because it's an MMO and they didn't want to translate all of it. So they never released it here, which is like my favorite part. Like there's multiple Dragon Quest games over time where they're like, yeah, we just don't want to translate it. It's too much text. And I don't know if you remember, Dustin, they released that offline version of it on Wii and Wii U, but we never got it. So we were talking about all the different Dragon Quest games. Dragon Warrior 7, as we knew it on PS1, a very late PS1 release, was the first Dragon Warrior or Quest game we had gotten since Dragon Warrior 4 on NES, which came out in the West in 92 or 93. So it was 7 or 8 years. It felt like longer at the time because games came out a lot quicker. And what I've said a million times, what I remember the most about that game is how fucking long it is. It is through the lens of that era, it is maybe the longest game. I can't think of because people would say like, oh, it's a 100-hour game. It's like, really, there weren't 100-hour games back then. I mean, a lot of people were like leveling all their characters up to 99. Like in Final Fantasy VI, like you could spend 100 hours with it if you did everything with all the characters and taught everyone the espers. But really, you could beat it in half the time. Now we have games that really are authentically that long and even longer. And Dragon Quest 11 is a 130-hour game if you platinum it. But what I like about Dragon Warrior 7 or Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined is when it comes out February 5th is that they've apparently like really edited it. And I think that I frankly think it needs it. I like long games. I like meaty games. I think there's a major compounding difference between 50 and 60 hours and 80, 90, 100. Like each hour wears more and more. And I don't know that I think people, first of all, completion stats say that people are not beating these games, but I think people often overstate like, yeah, I really do want the 100-hour role-playing game. And there are some people that really feel that way, but most people don't. If you want the series to be successful, you can't do that shit. And you certainly can't release a game that's almost 20 years older than Dragon Quest 11. That's arguably longer. because I don't know how you're going to square that circle. So, but yeah, so I'll get to it. I'll buy it because I bought Dragon Quest 1 and 2 as well, but it's like I'm not going to get to this stuff anytime soon. First of all, I'm very familiar with those games. You can go. Hopefully, it is my sincere hope that my Dragon Warrior 1 and Dragon Warrior 2 walkthroughs that I wrote in high school are getting somewhere. Although they've probably changed the games effectively enough where they're not going to be super accurate. Good selection, Chris. We won't even ask you about it.
Yeah.
But we will go to you for your fifth and final selection. This is 14 overall.
All right. Yeah, so honestly, as I'm looking through the rest of my list, there's things that I think I'm more confident in than this. There are things that I think there's a lot of the rest of it. This is like, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll play it when it comes out. I'm not necessarily excited about it. This one, arguably, I'm just more curious about. I have a lot of doubt, but I can't deny, like, if this turns out well, I will be a very, very happy boy. But it's Fable. What the fuck's going on? What's going on here?
So you think it's coming to PlayStation?
Yeah. Yeah, I think... look, I don't mean to talk too much about that Ouya thing, but, like, I mean, that seems like if there's ever been a time... If Halo's already coming... like day and date, I don't see why. Like I really don't understand what the logical argument would be to just not also do it with Fable. And I think Gears E-Day is also day one. I think everything. I really do think from here on out, it's just like
there is scuttlebutt that the delay or like why the game kind of has disappeared for a while is to get a port ready. Although that's who knows if people are making that shit up. I just don't know what direction they're going in, Chris, because of what they're doing with Forza Horizon, where it's not coming day and date to PlayStation. And I wonder if that's because are they still trying to play nice with their fan base, or is it just not going to be ready? I don't know. So, because I believe Fable will come, but I don't know if it'll be day and date. But anyway, go ahead. I'm going to allow it. I'm going to allow it.
I don't know. I'm going to allow it.
I'm allowing it.
But fine. I just feel like it's plausible enough. And look, I love Fable. I think Fable 2, I have so many fond memories of Fable 2. I play Fable 2 every now and again. Like I think I play it usually every holiday, at least a little bit. The backwards compatible version of it on Series X is kind of rough. It's still locked at 30. Fable 3 is a much better port, but Fable 3 sucks. So it doesn't really matter. But I have really fond memories of Fable. I really think the vibe is interesting. I think it's a cool game. I think it's somewhat of an underappreciated game as well. And I'm curious to see what that studio, I think it's Playground, is working on this. I'm curious to see like what their mark is going to be on it. But also, the last time we saw this was what, like 2020? 2021 latest?
Yeah, I'll look.
It's been a long fucking time. And so, much like Judas... this is kind of like a shit or get off the pot type situation in 2026. I don't know. I don't know if I have really much confidence in Xbox game studios as of late, but there is a serious aching curiosity that I have about this game that I cannot pretend is not there. I'm so fucking curious. And so
we've seen it. We've seen it twice, by the way. It was announced at Xbox Showcase 2020, along with the Xbox Series reveal, and then it got an in-game trailer in 2023, and that's it.
It's 3 years since the last. Like it's crazy. Like, what are we doing? And there are other games on this list that I think I'm looking for. Like, again, like I'm more confident in. It's like, yeah, this is gonna come out. Yeah, I think I'll probably like that. But like this one, I'm just like, bro, I gotta know. Like, this arguably, aside from GTA 6, this is the one where I gotta know what you've been doing this whole time. So that's up there. May not come to PlayStation, but I think it's more plausible than I think people might assume.
Yeah, I'm gonna allow it. It's not announced for PlayStation, but there's no reason to expect that it wouldn't come to PlayStation at this point. And now I think the only question is, will it be day and date? And this game is running on Forza Tech, which is so funny.
So weird.
It's Playground, so we'll see what they're capable of. I think they're probably going to do great, but I don't give a shit about Fable. So, and I just it's not even that it's an Xbox thing, because the original Fable was on the original Xbox, which I played. it was just I'm like, I'm not into this fucking lion head. It wasn't even a lion head. I didn't even know what lion head was at the time, but like this, just the visuals of it and stuff like this very whimsical fantasy. I'm like,
You know, like a little whimsy?
Nah, well, a little bit whimsy here and there, just a little.
Sorry, man, can't do it.
Sorry, man.
Next.
Oh man,
can't do it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. So one more selection that's from me. Now I ask you guys, should I make the Colin selection or should I make the Sacred Symbols selection? Because there's different ways. Yeah,
I think make the Colin selection.
Okay.
And then we can get into the sacred symbol. Like if we have like anything that like skirted by, we can mention the sacred symbols.
Okay. Then I'm going with Bloodstained, the Scarlet Engagement. Bloodstained is finally supposed to launch this year. We'll see if that actually happens. Being developed by Artplay, like the original 2.5D one was from, I was about to say 2D HD, 2.5D one from Artplay in 2019, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's been a while. I don't know why it's taking so long. I also wonder if I don't even wonder. The game is launching into a different environment with Metroidvanias than the original did. And even when the original came out, it was still somewhat crowded with competitors. But this was a long-awaited Igarashi game, and it was going to be big. I wonder what this game is going to look like when it comes out in terms of its reception, because even these 7 years later, or by the time the game comes out, 7 years, it's so different. And it is my hope that people turn out in a major way for Bloodstained, because Bloodstained is about as close to Castlevania as we've gotten. And what's funny about this is the original Bloodstained came out after Netflix Castlevania began. And when you would have assumed at some point Konami would be like, we should do a Castlevania game. Now, I've said over and over again, I believe that there's not only one Castlevania game in development, but maybe even multiple ones. I don't know anything. That's just my prediction, because they have to know that there's these different directions they can go in: 3D, Metroidvania, old school. And it's funny to see Bloodstained explore two of those multiple times in between any Castlevania game. In other words, like, you would have seen Bloodstained's Kickstarter, then you would have seen Bloodstained's like lead up, and then the release and how much everyone loved it, then Circle or Curse of the Moon and its sequel, which are fucking sublime, like even better than Bloodstained, the original Ritual of the Night. And then we're going to get a sequel, and they're just like, yeah, no Castlevania. So I guess what I'm saying is that this is about as close as we're going to get for a while, and I'm fine with that. I thought Bloodstained, the original Bloodstained, was great, and I never platinumed it because there was some fucking stubborn RNG. Not unlike some of the Castlevania games that Igarashi had made before about the way enemy drops and stuff, where I'm like, I can't do this, man. Like, this is fucking crazy. I can't fight this demon over and over again with a 0.5% chance it's going to drop what I need or whatever. I just can't do it.
Right.
So, but yeah, shout out to this. And so yeah, all right. So that's the Colin choice. Neither of you are really Bloodstained fans, I assume, but
no.
They are great. Take it from me, like they're nice love letters to Castlevania from a person who would know.
Right.
Now so that is my choice, but I was good. The Sacred Symbols choices, and no one said Wolverine.
Dude, people are gonna be so mad. They're gonna be so mad. Oh no, what have we done?
I said Fable. Look, I think the thing is ultimately, like, I don't know. A lot of what's on my list is like half curiosity, half excitement, and I'm just not curious about Wolverine. I know what it's going to be. Like, I know it's going to be very, very good. I have no doubts about it. So, like, I think that kind of makes it a little bit less interesting. But the rest of my list is stuff that I'm also looking forward to playing. It's just like, I'm not.
Yeah, what do you got? Anything else you want to just give an honorable mention to?
Yeah, a handful of things. I am curious about Halo coming out. Like, that is a weird choice. There's going to be some original content in there too. Like, I wonder how well that's going to work, or if it's going to feel disjointed as fuck. But it's up there for me. I'm curious how it's going to look and feel, especially on a PlayStation controller. That's going to be really surreal. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, I'm also really keen on. That first Tomb Raider game is, like, I played it a long time ago. I never beat it. Tomb Raider was like rough for me. Like it's just like a really archaic kind of game to wrap your head around. So like I'm looking forward to like really plowing through that first Tomb Raider game and getting reacquainted with it, and with more modern controls. Reanimal is on my list. Very keen on that. Wolverine was on my list as well.
That went gold, I think, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wolverine, and then Lego Batman for me was
sure.
like
that's April or May, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I think I'm gonna like that one. It looks like they're going more of an Arkham route. It looks like they're going like Arkham Light as opposed to like traditional Lego, which I think is a smart move, especially in the absence of Rocksteady or any meaningful Batman on the horizon. So yeah, I'm looking forward. Yeah. Those are the honorable mentions.
Cool.
My honorable mentions are Tomb Raider, which Chris mentioned. Curious about that. One that was kind of low key, but Mouse PI for Hire.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Looks like a cool game. The demo Brad and I saw Summer Game Fest was pretty interesting, and I just love the art style for that. Phantom Blade Zero is a pretty big curiosity for me. It's one that I'm probably going to wait to see what reviews say. So I'm glad, not that I wouldn't have put it on the list, but I had as an extra in case all my other ones ran out. And the last one was also one that Chris said, Halo campaign evolved. I'm still a little disappointed that there is no multiplayer component to it, but I mean, it's Halo. I'm gonna be playing it when it comes out.
The thing about that, man, is just like that reads to me as such a deliberate decision where like they're clearly going to make a new like multiplayer only Halo platform.
Yeah,
I think, and then that's going to be day and date, I would imagine, because it's a live service. So like if that's going to be day and date, which I'm pretty confident in, if Halo Combat Evolved is going to be day and date, what the fuck? Well, why wouldn't Gears E-Day be day and date? Like, why wouldn't Fable be day and date? It just seems very. And I understand what you're saying, Colin, about the Forza.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, but like,
it is weird,
it doesn't seem like any decision that they're making is particularly coherent anyway. So
it might just be about what's ready and like, kind of getting in. And I think they realize, and they might have seen it with Indie, is like you kind of get a second marketing boost that's probably good for the game on PC and Xbox as well. So why not? We saw that with Helldivers going to Xbox, that they said that there was a major increase in PlayStation player base during that week. So they might just be learning things where it just makes sense to stagger them, even though we all know they're coming eventually. We'll see.
Right.
I had a few as well. So Tomb Raider was one of mine as well. And I think that's going to be dope. It looks awesome. And again, the original Tomb Raider is so zany. Wolverine was on my list. I just didn't select it because we got, there's other games I'm more excited about. Deca Police is finally supposed to come out. That's the new level 5 game. It's described as a crime suspense RPG. It looks fucking cool. I've played most of level 5's games. I've not played all of them, but that's one to keep an eye out on. And it's on PlayStation and Switch and PC, I think. And it's supposed to come out this year. It was first shown years ago. I think it was at a Nintendo Direct. It might have been premiered, actually.
Yeah.
And Ontos, Ontos from Frictional. Now, I'm not I don't know about this game because I'm not like a Soma person or anything like that, but it looks fucking dope. So I wanted to give that a shout out, but I didn't select it here. The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales, looks pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Wanted to give that a shout out. And that's it. That's all I had written down. Well, obviously, there are some games that are nebulous, too, that we just don't know when they're coming out. So, and some of the things that we've talked about here are undoubtedly going to get delayed. But we'll see what that is when the time comes. But a nice list of games, boys, as we wrap up this episode of 392 of Sacred Symbols. Chris, goodbye to you. Be well. Good job. The exercise was very successful this year.
Yeah, we did. We hit it, And we're recording again tomorrow. So this is a crazy.
We're recording 390 tomorrow, so we're going back in time.
Yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, It was good. It was good doing this. I like these exercises. They're fun.
Yeah, I think they're good. It's like going to a study session at school and like kind of reaffirming what you've learned, and then you kind of remember it better. It's a bit of a selfish exercise, if I'm being honest. But it's
sure. But
because I'm like, what is? Because I have to like do it's like, what is coming out? And then you're going through all these lists. And I'm like, oh yeah. It's actually kind of exciting when you find some of these things or remember them. Dustin, goodbye to you. Be well.
Goodbye. This was fun. Many games to look forward to. And I couldn't even put any Nintendo games on the list. Of course, New Fire Emblem, Colin. I'm pumped.
Yeah,
Fortune's Weave.
How exciting.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Hopefully.
cool. I'm sure Mike is all going to be all over that too.
But yeah, so many games next year and so many that we probably don't even know about yet that are going to be awesome. So looking forward. This is the first episode of Sacred Symbols in 2026. So another great year of content ahead. So look forward to it.
Yeah, this is our 10th calendar year, right? I think that's right. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. That the Sacred Symbols has been going. Scary.
We're dying.
All right, my boys. It's good to see you guys. I'll see you again tomorrow. But it'll be weeks ago by the time people hear this. I'm confusing the timeline and I got to go. Patreon.com/laststandmedia for early ad-free access. We appreciate you over there. Laststandmedia.store for merch. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.
See ya.
Take care, guys.
Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is conceived by, is written by, and is directed by me, Colin Moriarty. My co-hosts are Chris Raygun Maldonado and Dustin Furman. The show is produced by executive producer Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by my best friend, Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand's shows, including Sacred Symbols, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we're grateful for your thoughtful and kind contributions to our independent endeavor. Thank you.